Hey, this is a song for my haters. Yeah, you got me feeling like the greatest, yeah.
Yo, what's going down, everybody? It is straight out of Boston here, aka the King of Boston, and today we have episode 2 of the Detroit Pistons Association on NBA 2K13. And today we have the first game of the year against the Houston Rockets. And before I talk about the gameplay, I have a few things to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about how I'm going to organize this series, how many games I'm going to post, and I also want to talk about my plans for this team to let you guys know what I'm going to be looking for when I'm trying to, rebuild this team, obviously. But anyway. First things first, I want to say that my plan for doing this, game by game or whatever, is I'm probably going to upload about 1 game per month, maybe 2 games per month, we'll see. I'm going to be doing it very similar to how Lumberjack33X did his NBA 2K12 association with the Cleveland Cavaliers, because I think that was the best association on YouTube. I'm sure some of you will disagree with me on that one, but anyway, I think that he organized it very well. He got through like 3 years, really rebuilt the Cleveland Cavaliers very realistically. So shout out to him. You guys should check out. He's doing an Orlando Magic Association this year, and I think it's going to be a really good series. I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, so you're going to be seeing about 1 game a month, maybe 2. We'll see about that. I plan on playing like 2 or 3 games a month. Just, playing them off camera or whatever, but could live stream a few games here or there, something like that. We'll see. But yeah, look out for about 1 game a month. There's going to be a lot of simulating because it makes it much more realistic. I can't just build a team that I'm good with. Build like a 3-point shooting team that I can cheese with the entire game. I actually have to build a team that's going to hold up well in a simulation style game. So I really like that. It makes it much more realistic, makes it much more fun, I think. And that's how I've always done, or well, not always, but that's how I like to do associations nowadays, or franchises, or anything of that nature, except for Madden, because Madden you can't really simulate without missing a bunch of games. But anyway, so my plans for this team. I'm going to talk about the strong points of this team and the weak points. I really think that a strong point is this team's front court. Specifically, Greg Monroe and Andre Drummond. I think that Greg Monroe, first of all, I think he might be an all-star this year. I have my fantasy team. He's done really well. He's a great all-around type of player. He can get you steals, blocks. He's having like 6 assists or like 5 assists a game or something like that. I mean, he's getting a lot of assists. He's a 18 and 10 type of guy. I really think he could average it. I think last year he was around 16 and 9 or so, something around there. I really think he could improve that this year. I really think that he can, get up to that 20 and 10 type of place at some point in his career. We'll see. Anyway, I really like his development in his second year from Georgetown, which Georgetown is historically a great producer of big men. They produced Patrick Ewing, Roy Hibbert, Greg Monroe, Jeff Green. So, they really know how to develop big men down there. So, I really have high hopes for Greg Monroe. I think Andre Drummond was originally, Greg Monroe, coming into this, Greg Monroe is my only untouchable. He was that one guy who I knew I was going to keep. I knew I was going to keep throughout this association unless they offered me, like, I don't know. I probably would keep him even if they offered me, like, LeBron or something, just because that'd be really stupid. But anyway, well, stupid on the Heat's part. So, coming into this, Greg Monroe was like a 59 overall in the 2K rosters, but these custom rosters that I'm using, which are by Static Guns, is his PSN. He's on Operation Sports. I'll leave the link to them in the description. But I got them from Operation Sports. They're a really good roster. I really like them. I suggest them for if you're doing association right now. But he gave Andre Drummond a 69 overall, and he's improved a lot of his kind of like just defensive and rebounding attributes, so I really like that. Maybe he will be a part of this future. I'm not really sure. It's up in the air right now because he's a 69 overall, so after 2 years you could look at him being like in the high 70s if he develops right, but we'll see about that. He looked really good this game, so obviously can't tell right now, but right now I'm really liking Andre Drummond on this team. I think he could be a key part of the future. Now, as for the rest of the team, I think we have a lot of tradable pieces. Guys who I might be looking to trade this year are Corey Maggette, Tayshaun Prince, maybe Will Bynum, guys like that. Maggette has the huge expiring contract. I think Prince's contract might be expiring after this year. And the reason I like expiring contracts are because, if he's got $11 million or something, he's like, Maggette's making like $11 million this year or something like that. And if I get that off my books, or off my salary next year, that's $11 million I can spend on a really, good free agent. I can't give that a max contract or anything, but I can get like a good free agent. So, getting those expiring contracts off the books, always a key. And I think that if I trade Maggette or Prince, I would like to get an expiring contract back. I know Hideo Turkoglu, the trade finder, I've been messing around in like simulation only associations, and I know that the Magic like to trade Hugh to Turkoglu a lot, who has an expiring contract, so maybe we'll look at that. We'll see. I'm not really sure. I think I do have one trade coming up, though, maybe in the next episode. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, I don't think I've done the trade yet, but I know that the other team will accept it, and I'm considering doing it. I'm still thinking about it. But anyway, looking at this team's backcourt, we got Rodney Stuckey and Brandon Knight, as well as Johnny Flynn, who we did sign. And so far, Johnny Flynn, he's been solid. I don't think he's the type of guy who's probably going to be on the team for too long. But I don't know how this wasn't 5 seconds back to the basket right there. But Mirza. Anyway, and by the way, his name's pronounced Mirza Teletovic. Someone in the comments told me that he thought it was Mirza Teletovic. That's how they pronounce it on the Yes Network, which I guess broadcasts the Brooklyn Nets games. And I looked it up. I looked up the pronunciation of Teletovic, and it is indeed Teletovic. So getting back to the backcourt, Brandon Knight, Rodney Stuckey, Johnny Flynn, a couple guys who I really. I'm unsure about it at this point. Johnny Flynn, I think he could be a solid role player on this team. I don't think he's going to start at point guard for us in the meantime. But he has like 3-star trade value, so he's another guy who we could look to trade. I kind of regret giving him a 2-year contract. I would have rather stuck into a 1-year. Stuck to a 1-year. I think I just said stuck to a 1-year deal. But whatever. It is what it is. He's a solid backup, so I mean, it's not like having him on our team is going to hurt us. It just gives us a little bit less, freedom or leeway or whatever you want to call it. But now I want to talk about the 2 main starters in the backcourt on this team, and that would be Rodney Stuckey and Brandon Knight. And first, I'll start with Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight's a kid who I really liked out of college. I really liked him at Kentucky. I wasn't overly impressed with his rookie year. I know some were, but I thought his decision-making was poor. He didn't look like that much of a pure point guard. Looks really like a combo guard who could end up being a shooting guard in this league. So, he's not really an untouchable type of player. He does have a bright future. Well, maybe we'll see how he progresses after the first year. But if he doesn't progress how I like it, I definitely am going to have room for a point guard on this team. Or, star point guard or starting caliber point guard who we can find at some point. Whether it be after this year in free agency, through a trade, through some sort of, I don't know. But I also want to talk about Rodney Stuckey, obviously. And Stuckey has pretty much been the face of this franchise for the last few years now. Although actually I'd say Greg Monroe's faced the franchise at this point, but for the few years after the transition period, or during the transition period, after they traded Chauncey Billups and kind of gave up on that era of the team, they really turned it over to Rodney Stuckey. And Stuckey's been a very inconsistent player. He is not a great shooter. He's a good scorer. I think he's proven in the past that he can put up 18 to 20 points a game, which is some people don't think 20 points a game is a lot, but when you consider the fact that there were like 15 or 16 people out of the 450 NBA players who averaged 20 points a game last year, that's something special. When you can do that, you're a pretty good scorer in this league. So we'll see about him. He's another one of those guys who's not really untouchable. I've thought about, I think if I trade him, I might wait a year or something. We'll see. I'd like to trade him before we go into free agency because he does have like 3-star trade value, and I could at least get some picks or something like that. But anyway, that's my plans for this team. Like I said, Greg Monroe's the only really untouchable type of player. As for what I'm looking for in a front court player, I'd like to have a lockdown defender on my team. That's something we're lacking right now, and it showed today when we could not stop James Harden. As you can see here, Harden's going to dagger that 3. And, I mean, they're blowing us out at this point. It's 104 to 81. They're up by 23 points. We really let it go in the third quarter if you've been paying attention to the gameplay. But anyway, I am playing on Superstar difficulty, by the way. I know I'm playing my MyCAREER on Hall of Fame, but I'm playing this on Superstar for now. We'll probably bump that up at some point, but I'm just trying to get used to the team, get used to the players, and you can see, obviously, the difficulty is not too easy considering we're down 22 points at this point. Although, make it 20 after Brandon Knight's going to get a nice layup there. That was goaltended by Patrick Patterson. But, anyway, so I'd like to find, a shooting guard who's maybe a lockdown defender who can step out and hit a 3 once in a while. Maybe like a Tony Allen, but down the road, someone who could be a potentially better shooter. I do like having a good, 3-point shooter at my 2 spot. Maybe Wesley Matthews. I really liked using him when I was playing with the Trailblazers online. He seems like a pretty good defender. You see Rodney Stuckey with the off the backboard alley-oop. Thought that was pretty cool there. But as for a point guard, I like my point guards to be pass first. I obviously wouldn't mind having a guy who could score and put up 10, 15 points a game, but I do like my point guards to be able to, pass the ball when they need to. And we'll see. I don't know too many point guards in the draft. upcoming drafts, but I've taken a look at the draft class for the next few years just through other associations, and I think that there's some promise at the small forward position, the point guard position, so we'll see. But anyway, you can see we get blown out in this game. James Harden and the Rockets come into Detroit and knock us off, spoil our start to the season. I can't tell what the final score is because it's not saying on the screen, obviously. But I leave us with the box score as usual, and then I show you guys the player of the game highlights. BC, we lose 127 to 103. We get dominated in almost every category except defensive rebounds, second chance points, points in the paint, and time of possession. But you can see the stats there: 26 and 10 for Greg Monroe. That was very promising. We actually had a lot of guys do well on offense. It was just our defense. James Harden dropped 40. But anyway, that is going to wrap it up for me. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.
Got my ticket, fam, yeah, I'm coming. Damn, it's been a minute since I seen where I'm from, and I wanna glide to my nest in the east. I'm not there, but I'm home, so I'm resting in peace. See, I'm surrounded by the city. Wherever I go, I breathe, I know that I'ma take it with me. Look, whether I'm top of the world or top of the charts, that uptown west side lives in my heart. As I depart on my mission in life, I close my eyes.